Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. At 11:15 Pacific Standard Time, there was a magnitude 3.5 earthquake near Bodfish, California. Reports are still coming in this morning. It's up to 50 people who said they felt this earthquake. USGS gave it an intensity level of 4. And here's some of the reports. Let me pull this up. Kernville, intensity level 4, 1 response from there. They don't put all the responses on USGS Did You Feel It webpage. Woodford Heights, 3 responses there. Bodfish, they had 9. And intensity level 4, meaning it was felt indoors by many, outdoors by a few. At night, yeah, it was night, 11:15 their time. Some people would have been woken up. Dishes, windows, doors were rattling. Automobiles that were parked would have been rocking noticeably. I downloaded 3 different monitors. The one here on the left is from China Lake. Yeah, it's been shut down for about 2 hours for some reason. The one in the middle is RRX, which would be Barstow Service Center. The one on the right over here is BAK, Cal State Bakersfield. Yeah, look at the heat, the magma that came up. In the last month, right here on this map, there's been 456 earthquakes, and this includes Ridgecrest and the Garlock Fault Zone. More recently, they're saying there was a 1.1 Bodfish, Searles Valley, a 1.2, yeah, Ridgecrest, and then this 3.5, that was only 1.6 miles in depth. Yeah, very shallow earthquakes. It's been about 1,200 years since there's been a major earthquake along the Garlock Fault Zone. Here we got Ridgecrest, and this is the part of the Central Walker Lane Seismic Zone. And then we got Panamint Valley Fault. Yeah, that's capable of having a very large earthquake, maybe a 7.5 or even greater. This whole area is locked. Well, I can't say locked, but there is an indication that extreme pressure has built. And we'll go to the location of this earthquake. Okay. There's the 3.5. There was also a 1.1. A lot of people believe that earthquake swarms would release pressure to prevent a major earthquake, and that is not true. It's an indication that pressure has built and that a large earthquake is coming. Back in 2010, USGS did a scenario for a magnitude 7.7 earthquake for the Garlock East, Central, and West seismic zones. And they gave it an intensity level that would happen of 9, which means you would have major damage, lots of injuries and deaths. Buildings would shift off their foundations, cracked, thrown out of plumb. You would have fissures that would open up, ground cracks, underground pipes would be broken, gas lines, water lines, etc. Yeah, we got it as far as Las Vegas and probably even farther. And as far as Los Angeles, yeah, it'd probably be felt even farther than that. And Kings Canyon National Park, Death Valley, close along the Owens Valley Fault Zone, it looks like. And more likely it would trigger earthquakes along the adjacent fault lines. And then down south, we got Los Angeles, Long Beach, probably Riverside, San Diego. Too many people are asleep about the coming major earthquake that could happen. You know, they go, oh, 3.5, that ain't much. Here we got the fault zone showing the direction for the Walker Lane fault. I drew out when they had that major earthquake back in 2019, how much uplift had happened, and you can see it drawn out. The Garlock fault zone, I got drawn out which direction that's moving. There's been a lot of major earthquakes in the past. Probably the largest one was in 1872, I want to say. Yeah, there we go. That was along the Owens Valley fault zone, a 7.4. They say that the fault fracture and the damage was actually greater than the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. I found a really good article on the Los Angeles Times newspaper. One of their staff members did an excellent job in reporting this. It shows different earthquakes that have occurred. You know, we got a 6.4, July 5th, a 7.1. Showing the Garlock fault and the all the earthquakes that have been occurring along the Walker Lane seismic zone. They published this in 2019. It says Ridgecrest earthquake aftershocks move towards dangerous faults, sparking concerns of triggered tremors. There's a rule to seismology that will probably come as a disappointment to many. Earthquakes don't actually reduce the risk of future earthquakes, they increase them. Every earthquake actually increases the probability of more earthquakes, Page said. In fact, earthquake scientists actually model quakes like disease epidemics. It's based on the idea how a contagion spreads to a population, she said. Earthquakes are like that. In general, if there are a lot of earthquakes going on, it's more probable for a large earthquake to go on. When you think about the earthquake swarms that have been happening, that I've been documenting, South Carolina is a good example. The one there for the Long Valley caldera, just to name a few. While earthquakes do relieve stress in some areas around them, they become less safe after earthquakes because they redistribute the stress and can push other faults in the area to failure, Page said. The Garlock fault hasn't ruptured in a big way in modern historical record, but paleoseismic work suggests that the average time between earthquakes of at least magnitude 7 on the central part of the fault is about every 1,200 years, Page said. But there's huge variations in that average. Sometimes only 200 years can pass between major quakes there. Other times, 2,000 years can go by before a repeat performance. The last time a big earthquake is believed to have hit the Garlock fault is roughly 465 years ago, give or take about a century. I have talked about in the past how these earthquakes in Ridgecrest has put a lot of extra strain on the Garlock fault zone. And let's bring it out to where this 3.5 today occurred. And this is the area of Ridgecrest. The Pyramid Valley fault is another great threat. That one too can have between a 6.5 and a 7.5 earthquake. I also found an image here showing the July as of 15th, 2019 Ridgecrest earthquake rupture. Let's bring this down a little bit. And we'll go over. And we'll go back over again. With so many earthquakes with a magnitude 6 and 7s and 5s, I have to wonder, is it capable of even having a 9? Boy, I certainly hope not. So this 7.7 scenario was about 6 miles in depth. Like I said, the shake map intensity level of 9. 3 reports were sent in to EMSC. I really like it when you guys send in your reports to them because they actually show us what people experienced. One report from Bodfish said it woke them up and startled the dogs. Lake Isabella said heard it, felt it, it was a quick shake. Okay, another report from Kernville, 3 miles north of Kernville. Shallow quake, shook our house pretty good. A sharp jolt, heard mountains rumbling. No damages, but our heart are beating pretty fast. We are not far from the epicenter. USGS does not publish the felt reports. Sometimes they don't even put on their map. People said, that they even felt it. They don't even put them on there. So if you do feel an earthquake, yeah, send it in to EMSC. More recently, at 1448, there was another earthquake that they're not reporting. It's a magnitude 1.37. And let me go over to this other. So we got different monitors here. The bottom one is Barstow Service Center. The one right here at the top is Cal State Bakersfield. And let me pull it over so you can see. Yeah, you can see the time on the left there. You can see that China Lake was actually shut down. And I'll go back another 4 hours. See at the top there, that's the 3.5. They did not fudge about that. We got a small one there. And another small one there. So this is what it was showing when I pulled the files. And you can see here the sharp points. Yeah, this is tectonic, the North American plate, slowly moving west. And I'll try and make that bigger for you. Yeah. We can't do anything about earthquakes, but we can always be prepared for earthquakes. And I found that being prepared gives me peace of mind. Yeah. So people really should be prepared. Do what you can. Bolt things to the walls. Have a plan about where you're going to meet your loved ones. When phones don't work, cell phones don't work, often the text messaging will still work. And often you can make a phone call out of state because local lines would just be overwhelmed. So you should have one person out of state that you can relay messages to, and other family members can call and find out if everyone's okay and what might be needed. And of course, besides having food and water for 2 weeks, don't forget the supplies for the pets. You should have pet carriers, because a lot of times if you go to a shelter, they won't allow you in there without a pet carrier. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. You can support my work by sharing and subscribing. And for $1 a month, you can join me on Patreon. So that's all I have about this. Thank you again for watching, and please stay safe and please be prepared. God bless you.